wishes to mix a solution that is 2% minoxidil. She has on hand 100 milliliters of a 1% solution and wishes to add some 4% solution to obtain the desired 2% solution. How much 4% solution should she add? So is this what you're looking for, Tyler? Something like this? I'm hoping. Awesome. Okay. I just want you to know my brain shut off at minoxidil or whatever. Like, what? I don't know. So do not be surprised if your brain shuts off. Just read it again and read it again. What's important is that you recognize it's a mixture problem and that you have an idea of how to start the mixture problem. So I always start, I'm a very visual learner, so I always start with buckets. And I'm visualizing, okay, I've got 2 buckets. I got a bucket of one thing, a bucket of another thing, and I'm going to mix them together into a 3rd bucket. And so I'm going to draw some crude buckets. So here's one bucket. Here's another bucket. And I'm going to add them together and mix them into this 3rd bucket. So this is how I start. Whenever I see a mixture problem, this is where I go. I just draw the buckets because I know I've got a couple of things I'm going to mix to get a 3rd thing. The other thing is your buckets will always have 2 adjectives, 2 descriptors. It could be price and grams. It could be, in this case, milliliters and percent. There's always 2 things that describe what's in the bucket. So what are the 2 things that she has? If I were going to label these buckets, it says she wishes to mix a solution that's 2%. So she doesn't have that on hand. That's what she wants. So this is my 2% bucket. Because I know that's where I want to be. Okay? So what does she have on hand? Well, she has on hand a 1% and a 4%. So I'm going to go ahead and it just label what's in the buckets in terms of like if I were going to actually have a laboratory and labeling, that's what I would label the buckets. They do give us a little bit more information. They tell me that she has 100 milliliters of the 1%. So I know that I can actually go a little bit further and say I know I have 100 milliliters of the 1%. So these are the 2 labels, milliliters and percent. So these are 2 labels. So each bucket has that. So how many milliliters does she have of the 4%? And I would read it through a couple of times. Yeah, and we don't know. Like that's what they're asking. I don't know how much she has of the 4%. All right, okay, so that's going to be my X. X is the milliliters of the 4%. And then this is where it gets tricky. You have to go over here and you have to figure out how many milliliters she's going to have in the end. And that's tricky. So we're just going to slow it down a little bit. She's got 100 milliliters here. She's got a certain amount of milliliters here. And she's going to add them together to get how many milliliters. And so I'm hoping that you can visualize that it's both of those buckets together, or 100 plus X is the milliliters that are in the final bucket. Questions up to here? Can you guys give me does anybody have questions? What are your questions up to here? I'm not finished with the problem. I'm just labeling the buckets right now. Questions? Okay, cool. All right. So at this point, this actually becomes my equation. What I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply. So I'll go ahead and use parentheses. Even though you might be able to multiply this in your head pretty easily, I'm still just going to do the parentheses so that you can see where the numbers are coming from. I'm going to take my 1% times my 100 milliliters plus my 4% times my X milliliters equals my 2% times my 100 plus X milliliters. So this is essentially what I'm doing here. So you have your amount times your value for each bucket. And now I'm going to clean it up. So multiplying this is just 100 plus 4 times X. I don't know what X is, so I'm just going to rewrite it as 4X. And then equals, and then on this side I have to distribute that to each one of these. I can't add these because they're not like terms. And so what I have to do is, to clear my parentheses, is distribute the 2, and so I end up with 200 plus x, and now I can solve for x. Okay. I'm going to pause here. Does anybody need me to solve for x?